everyone! In this video, I'm going to show you how to use a website builder for web designers to create business functionality that most people think requires custom development. By web designers, I actually mean anyone who's familiar with designing websites and terms such as pixels. But if you don't have this knowledge, please feel free to follow along anyway, as I'm going to be taking things super slow and step by step. We're going to be building a fitness studio website that handles complex booking scenarios, membership management, and automated business processes. I'm going to be showing you how to implement advanced business features that typically cost thousands in custom development. In fact, here's what we'll be covering: Headless CMS platforms, drag and drop website builders, revenue tracking and reporting, complete business intelligence dashboard, staff scheduling and management tools, responsive web design, customizing templates, SEO setup for new client websites, and website custom code. Okay, so a lot to cover. Let's get to creating a website that handles every aspect of running a server-based business automatically. We'll be using Wix Studio for this, and if you want to take your project to the next level and add custom code, I'm going to be showing you how to do that at the end too. So let's all get started from the same place by clicking on the link in the video description below. Okay, so let's do it. Here I am on the Wix Studio page. This is not Wix, this is Wix Studio, and we're just going to log in. You might need to sign up if you haven't used this before. Okay, so I'm just going to sign in as I have used this many times, and yeah, this is what the dashboard should look like. We're going to start off, of course, looking at headless CMSs, and if you've never heard of one, this is the perfect place for you. I'm going to break it down. So first off, let's just start off with a template. We're creating a fitness app. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to create a new site. We are going to use a studio template. And here I'm just going to put fitness app, just like so. And there's so many cool ones. I love this one, but I think the best one to start with is this one right here. So I'm going to edit it. Okay, now we just have to wait for this to load all of its wonderfulness before we can get started together. And there we go. As you can see, this is our landing page. You can already see you can book a class and become a member. So much more than just a standard, website, web page that really has a lot going on already, as you can see. So let's do it, CMS. Now, the best way to describe a CMS is what it stands for, and that is a content management system. That separates the backend, which stores all the content, such as images and text, for example, from the front-end presentation layer. So let's go ahead and click on a CMS right here to show you what that looks like on Wix. So as you can see, manage content with the CMS, which means storing content in little collections, displaying content dynamically when we need it, and collecting info using custom forms as well. So let's start now. By collection, it just means that, for example, if you have a collection of Pilates classes, you can store them together. Then you can make another collection for boxing classes and store all the boxing classes in a collection. And it just means when you need to display all the Pilates classes, you can drag that collection over and place it onto your website. And it will always be updated. You don't have to manually add each class again, and you just update it all in this CMS. So let's get to it. We can start with a preset. So for example, we have items, team members, projects. Let's do team members. So add to site. This is another collection we are making of our team members. So for example, it could be of fitness instructors too. Great. So wonderful. Here is our CMS, and this will allow you to essentially add the names of everyone here. So before, you would literally have to maybe create a card, add the name, add the picture. No, here we're just going to add the names. We're just going to add the emails, the job titles, the photos, everything, and then it's going to get mapped out onto all these little cards for us. So for example, if I put Bobby Blue, and then we'll put Bobby. We don't have a site name yet, so I'm just going to go with fitness, job title, boxing instructor, this is a paragraph about Bobby. You can have his phone number. You can have an image of Bobby. So let's go ahead and replace that. I'm going to show you how cool this is too. So replace image. You can add your own files, or you can use any of these, so Media from Wix, Unsplash, Shutterstock, or even an AI image generator. So that's very on trend for now. You can literally just type what you want. So a picture of a fitness instructor man. Create image, and that will be created for you. Of course, you should have Bobby's picture for real, you know. Great. So here is our alleged Bobby. Let's use the image. You can crop it, you can extend it, you can add filters. There's so much to do, so feel free to explore that in your own time. Let's get back to learning about CMS. So there we go. We have our fake Bobby. I'm going to add that in there. You have some alternative text, which you should have for readability purposes. The website, which that should be updated to your fitness app. And then these slugs. So this just means whatever domain name you have, Bobby will have his own landing page. So for example, I can change this to Bobby, just like that. And it's from the team list. And great. That is one person we have. We also have 6 others, but I think we're fine for now. So wonderful. You can also sort and filter if you had a lot, but we don't. So great. Bobby, or Bobbly even blue, has been added. Amazing. And we have the others here too. So as you can see, we didn't make any of these cards. They're already here. We mapped out all the information from the CMS onto this card. We mapped out a collection onto these cards. Now, you don't have to have these cards as they are. You can, of course, edit them. So here you go. You can change the borders. You can round them up. You can move them down. You can literally change everything. You can display them as cards, as a list, perhaps. That's what you prefer. Grid cells. Okay, whatever you want, please do. Again, this is not about the styling. We're learning about CMS. So I've just shown you how to add one item to a collection. And if we click through to Bobby, so let's publish this site. So yep, let's just call it my site, or let's just call it fitness, why not? Let's save and continue. And then once that is published, we can view it. So view site. I'm going to go ahead and view the teams. So I would just go /team. And that will give me all the teams, okay, as that's the list that I saved. And there's Bobbly Blue. If I click on Bobbly, I save the slug as Bobby, and he shows up, okay? If you remember, the other ones just had full name 02, so you can change that part as well. Great. That would be really cool, right? You can provide each of your team names with their own URL, and it will have all the information from the CMS too. Wonderful. So that is a very quick tutorial in how to use the CMS. Of course, like I said, you can create so many things. So let's go back to the CMS. My collections, at the moment we just have team, but you can create so much more. Like I said, anything that you want to display onto little cards is possible here. Okay? Wonderful. You can have as many collections as you like. You can choose to filter through them as well. So one other thing you can do is filter through these. So if you select here, CMS connections, you can choose the dataset settings. So for example, this loads 100. I can also add a filter to show items based on the URL. So I can filter this down to 3, so only 3 show up. So there we go, the first 3 show up. Or I can add a filter. I can add conditions, so name is Bobby, and then everyone whose name is Bobby will show up. Or for example, if I just wanted to show boxing instructors, I could do short description is boxing instructor, and then all the boxing instructors will only show up. So filtering is also possible on these data sets. For now though, I'm not going to limit it to 3, so let's just have 100. I'm not going to have a filter. And you can also do it from date creation. There really is a lot. Okay, Great. So that is CMSs in a nutshell. Hopefully I've explained that really well. So use it for creating collections such as collection of teams. Use it for creating collections of classes that you want users to have a more thorough understanding of. So you're going to have a collection of boxing classes, Pilates classes, you name it. Great. Let's go back to the home page. Now let's look at the drag and drop functionalities of these website builders. So you've already seen how we made a collection, but I'm going to show you how to drag in collections and other things too. So for example, let's just go all the way down here. If I want to add another section, I would just click add section, and here you can choose to use a designed section already. So you can choose the welcome. So this is a standard welcome section. About, if you want to talk about your founders, services that you may have or things you might want to sell with products, that is also available. Or you can, of course, just choose grid if you just want to kind of start from scratch, but not fully. So here you have section grids, stacks, repeaters, multi-state boxes, tabs, accordions. That's kind of cool for, you know, FAQs, slideshow repeaters, tables, and light boxes. This is just kind of pop-ups. Great. The last one is starting completely from scratch. So for example, you can drag and drop an image, a title, a paragraph, and so on. Okay? So that is something that you can do. It really depends on what you want. Okay, now let's look at revenue tracking and reporting. Okay, so this time I'm going to click on here and go to the dashboard. So this is another feature for our site. This will allow us to kind of see from the back end where we're making money and track it as well. So for that, we're just going to go to sales and look at the sales dashboard, which looks like this. Of course, at the moment, we don't have anything yet that has come through our site. However, we can also add it manually. So for example, maybe someone had trouble booking on our site. Me as the manager can go here to add a new order, add an item, so add a custom item. And let's just say this was a Zumba class for 15 dirhams, and that other information is optional. So there we go. I have just made a new order. I can also add the customer. So of course, I'm the only customer in here right now, and create an order. I could also add a fee if I need to. For example, you know, maybe doing this manually, you want to add a fee or a discount. It's up to you. And great, once I click create the order, it will allow me to collect the payment over the phone or in person. So if they've actually come to the shop, yep, I could take it from there as well. So this is essentially what it will look like. At the moment, the payment has not been collected, but I can charge with a payment link that I can send to the user or charge with an invoice. And once that is paid, I could be marked as paid. So let's charge with an invoice, create an invoice. Okay, and let's just say they paid me in cash. So yep, this is my invoice. We can send it via email. There we go, send email. And now, say they gave me the cash then and there, I can choose to mark it all as paid or add a custom amount. So I'm just going to choose to mark it all as paid. So wonderful, we mark this as paid, it's all gone green, and in our orders, we will be able to see that. Amazing. Of course, this would be much better if we had actual orders coming through from the site that will all be shown here. You will get the order amount, so how many orders have been made, the average order value, which is incredibly useful information, and your total sales in the last 30 days, or today, or yesterday, 7 days, this week, this month, you name it. And of course, if we go to analytics, you get even more information on this. So for example, where this came from, at the moment it will be just me. So not much information here to play around with, unfortunately. But if you have some interesting data, you can also ask Analytics AI to analyze it. Okay? So that is a great useful feature for the AI assistant to help you with analyzing your data. Wonderful. I'm happy with this. So if you just go back to orders, there's other things you can see here: subscriptions, gift card sales, payments and finances. So here you'll be able to see all the payments that have been made. At the moment there is one, and the receipts for that too. So you can set up automated receipts that will get emailed to your customers if you would like. All you would do is select here, create receipt when payment is added to order, and you can edit it to see what that would look like. So here is the flow when a checkout or order is made, so payment added to the order, so marked as paid. Check if support receipt generation is true. We did add true. Then convert order and payment details into receipt and issue a receipt. Okay, so that looks good. I like that flow. Amazing. Let's go back to our home page. So here and edit site. Okay, now let's look at our complete business intelligence dashboard. So you've already had a little look-see. Once again, I'm going to show you how to get there. You click on dashboard to get to our business intelligence dashboard. And I'm just going to run you through all the features that are available to you in a nutshell. So getting paid, this is connecting and setting up your payments, whether it's you want to connect Stripe to take credit card payments or connect to PayPal, this is where you would do it. You could also send payment links as we saw previously. So here you would create a link that you can then send to a client, send it via WhatsApp, send it via email, and it will collect that payment from the client because they would choose to pay it using their own card from their home or wherever they want. And then you will just get a notification to know that that has been paid. You can create invoices, so kind of like we saw previously. One has been issued, so that was sent to my email address as you saw. One email has been created. You can create more, so that is an option for you. You can create quotes that you send over to people, so create a quote, and if then the customer chooses to accept that quote, they can pay it via here too. For this, you will have to put your business info, so fitness, and then ania@fitness.app, and create price quote. Okay? So here again, you just fill out the quote, the title, the customer you want to send this to, the expiration date, the payment terms, the product you want to add. So let's say it's a Pump It Up class, and then you can preview this. So let's just say class quote, preview and share. So this might be a good example if someone wants to say buy 20 and you want to give them a discount. You can send them over this quote for them to accept. You can print it or, like I said, send it via email. So send via email and that will get sent. Okay, and then our dashboard will show us that one quote has been sent already. Next, we have proposals. So here you can win more clients and business with proposals. However, they do have to upgrade to use this, so I am going to skip it for now. Just know that it exists. And we also have POS checkout. So this allows you to sell in person. So before I told you, you can send a link over to a customer, or you can take the cash from someone that is there. You can also have a POS system, so a card machine linked up to here if you want. Great. So that's getting paid. We of course have booking calendar, which we looked at already. This allows you to manage all your classes in one place. So here we go, all our classes are listed all here. We have sales, which we have looked at previously in another section, which will give you a great overview of all your sales, as well as subscriptions, gift cards if you sold any, and the analytics of your sales. The catalog will simply show you all the bookings that you have available that you can view from one place. And you can go further and have pricing plans. So for example, if you want to sell your business as a subscription model instead, that is also possible here. You just set it up. Gift cards are a great one to issue. So for example, if you want to give someone a gift card $150, you can take the payment and they can redeem it from your platform. Okay, and finally, you also have booking integration, so you can integrate your fitness app into ClassPass, for example. That's a very popular one for fitness apps. You can be on ClassPass if you want. You simply have to connect. There are other ones as well, but booking channels is probably the most relevant for a fitness app. And finally, you do have other apps. So there's a whole app market for Wix that you can choose to plug into. Of course, some popular ones are WhatsApp and chat buttons, price tables, form builders, but there really is so much you can choose from this app store to have on your site. Okay? Wonderful. Just two more that I'm going to show you, and that is Inbox. So here you can also receive emails, so messages in one place if you would like. That could be quite useful because your email, your live chat, your Facebook messages can all show up in one place. But what is really cool is the customers and leads. So for a marketing person, this is going to be great. You can keep all your contacts, so everyone that's signed up to your website. So for example, that I am, and you can create an email campaign. You can get leads with Google Ads that also get added into here. So you can collect them also with form submissions, as you can see I've just clicked on. So these forms will be embedded onto your site. So when people sign up, they get added to this mailing list essentially. Now, what is also great is the automations. So automations is wonderful, for example, creating marketing campaigns. So when someone signs up, perhaps you want to email them. So get an email when a form is submitted. This automation can be easily set up. Once again, there's a trigger, there's an action. You essentially build an automation from here. This is an existing one. You can modify this or you can add it from scratch. So for example, form submitted, send an email that says probably something like hello and welcome, but you can edit that right here. So here we go. This gets sent to me. You got a new subscription. A site visitor just submitted your form. And then I can choose to actually do multiple things. So for example, if add a condition, if this person lives in the United States, have one email sent, or if they don't, have another email sent too. So that is something you can add. The property, if you collect where they come from, will be able to set that condition for you. Great. So amazing. This was just a brief overview of the entire dashboard. I didn't really dive into anything in too much detail. I just wanted to show you what there is. For now, let's continue to our next chapter. So let's go back to the home page. Okay, now let's look at responsive website design. And for those of you who haven't heard of that term before, it's making sure that your website looks good on mobile and tablet, just as it does for desktop. So in today's age, I think a lot of people tend to view sites from their mobile phone. So there is a term, mobile first development, where sites are made for mobile first and then kind of adapted to desktop and tablet. So if you want to see what your site looks like in mobile, you simply select this. Tablet is this, and desktop is that. And you can actually customize it for each one. So they look slightly different if you don't like what it looks like here. Okay, so here you go. You would just edit it. So if you want to move something or hide something for mobile, I could do that. So let's just say that perhaps we don't really like this image for some reason. I can choose to hide this. So hide just like that, and that will be hidden just on mobile. Because if you go back here, as you can see, it's still here for desktop. So anything you edit in mobile form will be saved in just mobile form. And this includes moving stuff around or hiding sections completely. If you choose to delete it, they will be deleted from all device sizes. So I would suggest just hiding elements instead. Great. So now you know how to edit in mobile, tablet, and desktop. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm just going to delete this whole section for now. Wonderful. Now let's look at customizing templates. So as you can see, this is our template. It looks great. I love it. But if, for example, you have a rebrand and you want to change things around, you can, of course, change everything. I'm going to tell you how to do it in the least time expensive way. So if you go here, there is something called site styles. So here are all my site styles at the moment. These are the brand colors, if you will, of this site. We also have the fonts chosen for this site and the text styles. So all of our headings will have the font impact, have the same font size, and so on. And this just means if you drag over a heading 1, it will look the same every single time, okay? So what I would do, instead of going around and changing each particular title, so for example, clicking on this, and then here changing the font to whatever you want. Of course, you can do that. However, then you would have to literally go around changing everything on the site. No, don't do this. Just go to your site styles and change them from here. And those changes will be applied to the whole site. Okay? So for example, let's choose heading 3 here instead, and then change the font. So I could go avatar, and now all of our titles that have the heading 3 will be changed. I'm not going to keep it like this. I'm going to change it back to Sora, but that is just a tip for you, a time-saving tip. Okay, you can do that to headings. You can do it, of course, to the colors as well, the page transitions, and so on. So edit through there, or if perhaps you do want something that, you know, is just a one-off, then yes, by all means, please change it in this tab that pops up on the right instead. Great. So that is a bit about customizing the templates that you have already. Use the site styles, or literally edit each item by selecting it and going to the pop-up on the right. Let's look at SEO setup for new client websites next. Okay, so to change the SEO for this site, this is going to be very simple. All you're going to do is go back to the dashboard. So dashboard right here. And this is going to allow you to change the SEO, not just for the landing page, but pretty much for anything. So all the way down here in SEO, we're going to select SEO settings, and ta-da, you can edit by page type. So we have the main page, the booking services, the team page, the galleries page, and the pricing page. You would have to let search engines index your site. So by keeping this feature on, it just means that your site will appear in search results. You can also add a general image. So I would definitely do that, one that will display whenever you share your link, so your URL on places like Facebook or whatever, then an image will pop up. So definitely do that. Now let's go into one page. So main page settings. Here essentially you can see all the main pages, and let's just go to the home page. So edit this one. This is what will show up on Google at the moment. It does not look great. You want to change all of this basically. So you change the title tag, you add a description. This is a meta description. You could use AI to do it. Perhaps do it if you're not sure. I think that could be a good idea. So yes, let's use suggestion 1. It really is up to you. Join Pulse Fit Studio for the latest fitness news. I love it. Okay, you can also use AI to change the title tag. It's up to you how you want to do it, unless you have something else in mind. I'm just going to use AI, and already it looks so much better. And of course, we want to let search engines in this page. So I love that. I think it looks great. I'm just going to publish it. And I will go ahead and do the same for every single one of these. Okay, I think that's really important. The social share again, so this is where you would add an image. This is just what your site will look like if you shared the particular link. So in this case, it's the home page. You can have a different image for all of these URLs. Wonderful. So please go ahead and upload that image, update this SEO. It is really important. Okay, wonderful. Let's go back to the home page. Finally, let's look at website custom code. So I've shown you everything. One thing I am going to do is to allow you to really go full on in terms of customization and add your own code. So for this, we are going to be using the Velo framework. So it is wise to familiarize yourself with that. You're simply going to go to code and start coding. So just like that. And here you go on the home page. Amazing. Here we are. This is exactly how you would add your own custom code. You can do it in the Wix IDE, so this might be more familiar to developers. This is just more of a traditional IDE. So it looks like this. And once again, it will allow you to add code to the home page as well as any other pages. Add your own functionality in here, anything you want. Okay, so whether you choose to do it in here or do it in here, it is up to you. Wonderful. I'm going to choose to go back here, so just make sure to select that button. Now, in order to get going, I'm just going to show you how to work in Velo. So let's use this example right here. So the Velo framework works is that you have to pick out the element. So pick out the button element. So for example, if you want to pick out this one right here, this would be button 6, as you can see. So let's maybe just change this to button 6. And we can change the label to be click me instead of book a class. And all I will need to make that work is run the code. So this is a very basic example. Ta-da! And that changes to click me. We did it. So that is the syntax for working with Velo. Use $W, find the element you want to work with. So in this case, it's a button, and then use all the properties that come with it. So for example, there's label, but there's delete, there's disable, there's enable, there's icon. There's so many that you can work with. Okay, so that is the simple syntax for working in Velo. Let's do a more advanced one. So here we go. Here is how you would do it. So once again, this time I'm just going to do if we are signed in, then show this text, otherwise show this text. Okay, so once again, just using the Velo framework for this. Let's run it. Let's publish our site. And great. So now if we log in, that changes as well. I love it. So that's it. There's the Velo framework for you. There's also writing custom code in Wix Studio. I hope you found that useful. Please do read the Velo documentation if you want to take this further. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions below. I'd love to answer them. Let me know what you think of this walkthrough.